Hey guys, Max Rich here. Today I want to do a quick little lesson on an exercise that you can do either in your left hand or right hand. I recommend doing it in both. But it's basically a way that you could build faster attack, more velocity, and definitely more power in your fingers the longer you work at it. It's going to be really, really difficult at first, and a lot of players won't be able to do it, at first anyway, but you'll soon get the hang of it. And the reason, I think it's kind of obvious, the reason you want fast, sharp, quick motions in your fingers is because that's how you get really quick, accurate playing, whether it's your left hand or your right hand. You know, I'm a finger picker, so my right hand's just as important as my left. So that's why I work on this type of stuff in both hands. And additionally, if you're a player that doesn't have like a ton of time to practice, you know, you got a job, you got this, you got kids, you got whatever, you know, you got going on, you don't need a guitar for this. You just need like a flat surface, some table, or, I'm going to do it on my guitar because it's made out of wood, but you could do it on anything. You could do it on the dashboard of your car, you could do it anywhere, right? And so the benefits of this type of exercise is that you can work on it all day long, sitting at your desk, sitting in the car, wherever you are at the kitchen table, whatever you're doing, you can work on this type of thing and improve your guitar playing and actually get faster twitch muscles in your fingers. And then when you go to play guitar, you're 100% going to notice a difference, right? So essentially, like, if you think about, you know, like a stereotypical thing, what do you do when you're bored and you're sitting in school? Well, you kind of do this, right? And that's the basis of what we're going to be trying to do today. It gets a lot more complicated than that. So if you can do that to start with, that's kind of a good thing. I'm going to demonstrate this in my right hand, but you could do it, you should do it in both hands, especially if you're a finger picker. But normally when people roll their fingers like that, they roll from their pinky to their index finger. They go like that, right? And it's like, you know, like I said, like the thing that you do when you're bored. Step one to this exercise is like, can you do that evenly, right? Not like da, 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 not like that, but you know, right? Just simple ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum. This is very rhythmic. This is a very rhythmic exercise, and the reason being is when you play faster, you want to play faster, you want to play really accurate. The sharper, more precise movements you need, the more rhythmic you have to be, because they have to fall really sharply in line in a grid to the time of whatever you're playing, right? So when you're doing this type of thing, you can't lax on the time. You can't like go and like be really loose with your timing. You got to be very precise, right? So when I do this, right, and you can hear that it's kind of loud, right? However, my fingers are like flat. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to play as though you were playing, you know, like in this case, if I'm playing with my fingers are going to be curved, right? If I'm finger picking, my fingers are going to be curved, right? So I want to do whatever I'm going to be doing in this exercise as though I'm on the guitar, right? If I'm playing with my left hand fingers are curved, so I'm going to be doing it with curved fingers. Let me see if you could see this, right? I'm going to be doing it like that, right? Right? Now, first things first, listen to the volume I'm getting. It's not soft. It's not real quiet. I'm getting real powerful, loud volume. Even if I do it up here, where it's not hollow, where it's not like the face of the guitar. And you hear how even it is. Ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba ba ba. The rhythm has to be there, right? So step one is be able to do that. Step two is do that now in reverse. And you hear how you can hear each one very precisely. There isn't one that's like really soft and then all the others are at a specific volume. They're all really loud. I do have nails on my fingers, so sometimes you'll hear like a click with it, but that's just because it's my nail. Right? And once again with your left hand as well. Right? It's just easier for me to demonstrate it with my right hand. So step one is be able to do that. Now your thumb, if you're finger picking, your thumb is important too. You need power and you need accuracy with your thumb. So you got to include your thumb in this, right? You go from your pinky to your thumb, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from your thumb to your pinky. Right? And then you can go back and forth. Right? So that's kind of the main gist of it. Now you take this and you start incorporating various rhythms, right? So we're doing, in this case, we're doing a set of 5 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I wanted to do that, let's say over triplets, right? 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, I would end up with a weird situation because I'm doing groups of 3, but I have 5 fingers, right? So I'm going to end up with a cyclical pattern that's going to move through my fingers, and the downbeat, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, is going to change which finger it is. So it's not always going to be in the same spot. So if I do it slowly, it'll be like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1. So notice the first time I do it, 1 starts with my pinky, 1 and then on 2 with my index, 2 and 3 with my middle, 3 and then 4 on my ring finger, 4 and then when I do the second measure of this, I start everything with my thumb, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that puts me right back on my pinky. And you can hear it, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1, right? If you see it from this way, right? 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1, right? And so all of that has to be done with maximum power and maximum snap. Now what's going to happen at first, you're going to try to do all these and you're going to be like, and you're not going to have a sound, especially out of your pinky. Your pinky is going to be like the weakest one. And if you listen to my pinky, it's super loud, right? And the way I'm getting that, let me kind of show you, right? When I lift up my pinky, I'm not doing this, right? All of this has to be very technical and you have to like kind of like really focus on where the movement is coming from. But when I do it, I lift up from my big knuckle. And notice that my pinky's not out like this, it's aiming downward, right? I want the tip of my finger to make contact with the table, right? Because that's the maximum leverage you can get out of your big knuckles. Now this is very important for left hand as well, because when you're doing left hand hammer-ons, let's say, right, when you're doing hammer-ons for example, if I come at the string, I want to come at the string like this. I don't want to take my hand or my finger away from the string like this and then have to re-aim and align my finger as I'm moving forward. When I go to do a hammer-on, I pull back and the tip of my finger is still aiming where it needs to go, right? So that when I attack, my finger is always pointing in the direction of its target, right? And it's the same thing. When I'm finger picking, my fingers are never out like this and then coming back in and then out like this. My fingertips are always pointing like at the string. And being able to attack from the big knuckle is the #1 way you're going to get real fast motion, whether you're finger picking like this, you know, or you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff in your left hand, right? The big knuckle is like the key to all of this. So when you're doing this, make sure that your fingers are pointing downward, the fingertips are pointing downward, that they're not out like this, and get maximum retraction on that pinky, especially on the pinky, right? You need to go as far back as you can. A lot of times you'll only get this far back because you're not used to pulling your pinky this far back, right? This requires a bit of a stretch of the tendon. And so you work with this and eventually, I mean, you could just do this on its own without attacking the table, and that's a good exercise because you're working on stretching your tendon, right? But it's the tendon, the snap of the tendon, you know, when you release it, that creates that really fast momentum downward. right? And once again, it's not that, right? I'm not landing on the pads of my fingers, I'm landing on the tips of my fingers, right? So that's super huge. And then you can take this and you can incorporate a bunch of various rhythms, right? You know, like you listen to whatever song you're listening to and you kind of tap the rhythm of that. And then you have to tap it in order, like from one side of your hand to the other, right? So I'll just make up some rhythms as I go, but notice that I'm not like changing direction, not yet, but I can, right? So here I'll just go like, right? So that's one option, right? The other way would be, then this is a good one, is to go from the outsides of your hand to the inside. Or, right? So it's thumb, pinky, index, ring, middle. Or the reverse, pinky, thumb, ring, first, middle. Yeah. Right, that kind of a thing, right? So like all these little patterns are really, really huge because you're going to encounter all of these types of finger patterns, even though you're not necessarily picking with your pinky. If you want to do Rosciatos, if you want to do like, you know, this kind of like, right, like Rosciato playing. Right, that sort of a thing, and be able to really successfully play, you know, maybe flamenco or something like that, or just have really impressive, fast, tight strumming with your fingers, the pinky needs to be there, right? So all of this is really important. Same, and ditto for the left hand, all of this goes equally for the left, right? So you have pinky to thumb, thumb to pinky, outside to in, and then obviously inside to out. Yeah. Right? So like there's a bunch of different patterns you could do, right? And then you could begin to play two fingers at once. All of this becomes very, very complicated the more you do it, and obviously, like I said, step one is making sure that your fingers can do this loud with a lot of volume, right? And then, like I was saying, you know, you start to just kind of like be able to have freedom to play a bunch of different patterns and a bunch of different rhythmic varieties, you know? Right, so like you can basically essentially like keep little time or like, you know, play like drum beats with your fingers. Right? And so all of that becomes really, really useful, especially if you're doing it daily, you know? If you're doing it, and I mean, let's face it, you probably got time. You're in the car, you're at work, at your desk, you're on the computer, you know, like using the mouse with your right hand, do this with your left hand, right? There's no reason not to. You're going to be way better off. You're going to be like training fast twitch muscle all the time, daily. It's like going to the gym without even really physically going to the gym, right? You know, it's like you're going to just get better and faster and quicker and more powerful with your fingers, especially your big knuckles. Like I said, like the big knuckles are the key to everything because that's where all the motion comes from. That's where like the power and the leverage and the snap and all of that come from, right? So if you can work on this daily, you'll be way better off for it, I promise you. And if you have questions or if you need help or like, why can't I get any volume right? You know, like please just send me an email, send me a DM, you know, max at maxrichmusic.com. You can go to maxrichmusic.com and check out the newsletter where I write tips like this and stuff for all the subscribers. And if you feel so inclined, hit that donate button. That always helps me create new videos and stuff for you guys, and helps keep the whole thing going. So thanks for watching, and give those fingers a workout.